5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
And welcome everybody.
Hello.
Well, where is everyone tonight? You all disappeared. Well, hope you've all-
Everybody's out flying drones.
Yeah,
Steve.
everyone's out flying drones.
Summer's away. Everybody's out.
Yeah, well, barbecues, flying drones. What more can I say? So there's
Not a
25,
lot.
there's 25 people joined us in the chat so far, so that's not bad, is it, really? It could be better,
Yeah.
but it could be worse. It could be no one. Right, let's have a quick look in the chat and see who's in the chat. We have Justin, we have
Alejandra.
Suzanne, we have Caroline. Caroline's in the chat.
Sweet Caroline.
Caroline, you'd miss it if we didn't do it, wouldn't you? Trust me. Patrick. We've got a song about Patrick now.
Hi, Patrick.
Elgry Photo Art.
Brandon's in.
And
Bigger is Alexandra from Mallorca.
From Mallorca.
I get to visit Mallorca.
JJ's in the house. Hi, JJ. How you doing? See your video.
Hola, Alexandra.
And Bud and Karen
Yeah. Tekla's is in.
and Kev in the house. Oh, Kev's here. And Britain from above. That's Jason.
Fly my phantom
Yes.
grown.
Is in.
John Coopy's in the house. Hi, John. How you doing? I don't know why John's. I wonder why John's here.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
SJM Drones and Media and Johnny Depp's in the house. You get fed up eventually. And
Hawaii girl.
Technique FPV.
Hello, Rick.
Do, 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 do.
Our two regular FPVers, Carolyn and Koopy.
That's Brandon. That's Brandon's there. You see
Yeah.
Brandon.
Oh,
Stevie,
no,
Brandon.
Phantom. First time
Steve-
watcher.
Stevie
Hello.
Knowles. Nice, Stevie. Fly my Phantom. Fly my Phantom. Grown.
Oh, she's in Germany.
You're in Germany then, Allegra. Allegra Photos.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Lauren.
Germany.
Well, I think that I'm at the bottom.
Lauren's
here.
Not in Mallorca.
Where is everyone?
Highland Co.
Yep.
Nina's in.
and Suzanne Albion.
Yep. I've done them ones, Kev.
Lauren.
About a week ago.
So you know who we're missing? We're missing Tom, TC. Where is he?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
he's in.
I'm calling.
Tom's in.
Right.
Is he in? Okay, good.
Yeah, he's in.
Where is he then? Can't see him on the list. He's snuck in the back door without me noticing.
If we just had Gary Foster in the chat, we'd have all three of our Canadians.
We certainly would. Indeed.
Yeah.
I Steve G, and thanks for the shout out, Johnny Depp. I'll tell you, that's Johnny Depp. I'll tell you that. No one believes me. You wait and see. I know these things. No, Jackie, I'm in Germany. Oh,
Yeah,
That's
not me.
Alexandra.
oh, there he is. He's there now. Hey, he's Tom. Look, he's there now.
Yeah, Tom's waiting.
Yeah, but you see, I'll explain this. I see the chat after it's live, so I see it 20 seconds. It works the opposite way around, so I see the chat about 20 seconds before you guys see it.
Oh.
Ah.
Because I'm not looking at YouTube, I'm looking in restreams. You see?
Well, Steve, that's why you're the boss.
Well, exactly. I've got the important job to do, press the buttons and stuff. How many from the US? What, going to Spain? I'm telling many people from America going to Spain.
Me and Sarah.
Dos.
Yeah.
Senora Marcos, Senorita Sarah.
Senora Sarah.
Yeah. And that's it. So, but it's not too late. It's not too late. Oh, because we're not starting for another month. Anyway,
Started.
without further ado, Terry's lost his glasses. Scratched his sunglasses. He went out to buy a coat.
My
Tell
son
us
got
more
my
about-
best
Did you
sunglasses.
shout out Lavina?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Lavina's in it. Yeah,
Okay.
Lavina's in it. Terry, so what happened today? Terry,
Lavina,
what did
yeah.
you do today? Terry went out to buy something today. Didn't you, Terry?
Oh, brilliant.
I went out to buy a wet weather coat
Yeah.
for my trip to Canada in case it rains,
And what does it look like?
and it looks like an iPhone
It's
15.
see like an
So
iPhone.
next week, Terry's going out to buy a pair of shoes and probably come back with a Mavic 4 or something.
Yeah. I
iPhone
must go
15.
shopping with him.
iPhone
As
15.
the Pro Max markers, yeah?
Yeah.
Pro Max, indeed. Right. Good to see Disney want John Depp back for next Pirates movie.
Cool.
Right. Anyway.
He's getting a little old for that, though, isn't he, Carolyn? I don't know.
No, he was.
Maybe he's the senior captain. You know, I
Listen,
visited where they filmed that. I actually got to visit that island and the spot where they filmed it. Yeah.
Right, so hopefully, our guests tonight, we're not going to have any technical hitches at
No.
all, are we?
No.
Are we, Restream? No.
No.
Right, okay. So let's give this one a go.
I
See what
keep
happens.
Look at our guest, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's welcome this week's Drone Seekers live show special guest.
And
Yay!
move into the prominent position. Zoe, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We are hoping this time we have no technical hitches whatsoever. And just to prove it, we're going to show a video right now
Right now. Wow.
Wow.
Good.
in English.
This is a Sparkle, a 3.5-inch drone. We're gonna fly it here, have some fun. So check this out. Oh yeah, battery's good. It's so pretty out here. So pretty up here. See if we can top these trees a little bit. Wow. So pretty. See if I can get into some flow style here. So far, so good. Have some fun. Honestly, just that slow, like cinematic stuff through here is really cool. Now, let's see if we can get nice, smooth cinematic flight. Okay, let's see if we can get something smooth here. Whew, pushing my video a little bit. A what? There's a bear cub? Wait, there's a bear cub where?
It's down, I looked over.
Alright. Let's see this vlog right here.
She's on it, walking down.
Oh, I don't see no bears up here. It is a good fly-in spot though. My goggles are like, hey, you know your video signal's getting bad over there? You should like not do that. Oh, that's such a shot. Oh, that's such a shot. That's so good. So pretty. Also, I am way too far away. Oh, that was beautiful. That was the shot right there. Okay, come back home, come home. Battery's low. That was freaking epic. I mean, it would have been cooler if I found the bear, but honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't. And just going over there lined me up for a really good shot. Whew. That was a desync. See, this is why I don't trust Blue Jay. Well, we're gonna fly this without 3D. Yeah, that was straight up no. That was funny. Yeah, I even heard the motors. They're like, nah, we're good, dog. We're good.
Wow.
Fly drones and
Some of the most
motorcycles.
I mean, okay, so I wasn't even planning on flying that day, but I was like, I can throw a 3.5 inch in a saddlebag and bring my recording setup with me. And honestly, it was a cool spot. Like, it was. So I used to ride daily before I got into FPV. I used to ride motorcycles on like a regular basis. It was my daily habit. On the weekends, I go to this local motorcycle garage, and I'd work on bikes with my friends, and it was my life before getting into FPV. And then I couldn't ride anymore for years on end. Like I was bedbound, and finally, after getting sick of playing video games and not doing anything, I got into building and working and flying on drones. And, you know, it's only recently that I've been able to get back on a bike. And combining those two things is like, oh, so good.
Gotta be heavy. We got to find him, Patrick. I know Patrick obviously does. He's been riding motorcycles 36 years, and yeah, it's.
So Zoe, one of the things that you do that I find, well, I'm impressed with, is the fact that you can fly FPV and live narrate at the same time. People don't know how hard that is. I live narrate my videos, and I can barely do it with a camera drone.
It's something I've been trying to do more of lately, because I feel like when you fly FPV, especially on social media and stuff, like you can have really good footage and you can have a really good shot, but like if you can't connect the pilot to the image and what you're doing, it kind of a disconnect for the general public. Like people that don't even know what FPV is or know what drones are, I feel like can connect with content if they see you as a pilot as a part of that content. So one of the things I've been doing a lot lately is the entire time I'm filming myself with a hover air drone.
Yeah, I see that.
It's just it's flying in front of me. And I use so there's a couple techniques that I can cut the noise of the drone out. So my audio, I'm cutting the drone noise out. You're not hearing that at all.
No, do you?
And then I fly normally, and then I can combine those two shots to give you the pilot perspective and the drone perspective. And people, I love this thing. This is such a great tool. Like, I hate how much I love it.
That is the thing, Marcus, because at the end of the day, I mean, obviously that is one good use for that. I'm sure the Neo, would the Neo do the same thing, yeah?
Yeah, it would, but the camera's much better on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this thing folds up. It is like the size of my phone. I can put this in a pocket. I can carry it with me. Like, when I don't want to take my drone setup, and this is like, this is why I love this drone. And it's such a flex, but like, this is my purse. I can put it in my purse. It's gone, and I can take it with me and go about my day. And then if the moment strikes and I want to get some footage, I can throw this up in the air, get some good selfie shots, or I can control it with my phone.
As you just demonstrated, there's not much bigger than your mobile phone either, is it?
Yeah,
do away with the GoPros.
Yeah.
Get one of those.
Well, the issue is going to be that's what it's for. It's a great B-roll camera, right, Zoe?
Yeah.
However,
so using it as a primary camera is difficult because initially it didn't have the ability to record audio while you're filming. But I'm using a DJI Mic Mini, and I finally got it set up to where it's cutting out the drone noise, recording from the Mic Mini, and it's recording it directly to the same video track on the Hover Air.
So you don't have to sync them; they just do it itself.
It just does it now.
Yeah.
Before, like on that video, I spent hours just syncing the audio and video together because everything was completely separate.
Marcus got a tip for that, haven't you, Marcus?
Well, my editor will do that. My editor will do that automatically. Yeah, I do the clap.
Yeah,
and that way it's easy to synchronize.
Yeah, I also use the clap, but now like everything just happens automatically. It's just using the audio from the Mic Mini. It's cutting out the drone noise.
The downside I see is just you got about a 12-minute battery life. Other than that.
That's okay because FPV batteries are short.
You also have to think about like if you're going out to make content. Like I like the fact because I have 2 batteries for it. I can get all the pickup shots I need with one battery. You know, the orbits, little intro shots. You know, the pullaways. Like I do a few of those shots, and then on the other battery, I can fly 2 to 3 batteries on my 5-inch or a little mini quad while using it as my primary camera to record me. And it gives me just enough content to make like pretty decent social media posts. Having to think about filming like an hour or 2 hours of content, I know I have what I need in those 2 batteries. Everything's predictable. I really like flying a selfie drone while flying an actual drone. It's
Plus
very
it's
good.
indestructible. It's hard to hurt it.
I have tried destroying it. I've sent it out of windows. Like I had a pull away shot, and I lined it up right with a window, and it flew out of a window backwards. As soon as it went out the window, it was like I have no idea where I'm at, and it just dropped off the ground, and then it started flying into the house repeatedly, and it did not give up. It is indestructible. Like it is a very strong drone. I have crashed it probably 20 different times, just doing stupid stuff with it. But once you get to know it and you just trust it, it works really well. And you just have to kind of, trust the drone, trust the AI in it, trust that it's not going to fly away on you, and that the shot that you want is going to happen every time.
I thought I lost it one time. I was flying it with a controller, and I was in the Caribbean. I flew it out over a bay. It disconnected and was just disconnected, right?
Oh, no.
And most drones, when they do that, they'll go into return to home, right, and come right back. Well, this one didn't do that, and I think there's a setting. It waited until it was in low battery.
Oh, and then came back.
And so we sat there forever, and finally I'm going, hey, here it comes.
The one thing that terrifies me on that drone is the return to home. I've used return to home twice, and both times it does not return to home. It goes on a little journey on its own. It is terrifying. I love Hover Air, and I was sponsored by them. They sent me the drone unit to test out.
Yeah.
I use it all the time in my production. And I kind of know its limitations, and I love it for its limitations. But yeah, do not rely on the return to home. It doesn't have a GPS on board. It has no idea where it actually is in space.
My Phantom 3 had a return home like that. It had a return home. I don't know where it was going, but it wasn't returning where it started.
Back to China mostly.
This is the perfect selfie drone, really, right, Zoe?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a perfect.
Yeah, it's really what it is. If you treat it like a selfie drone, you treat it like a completely pilotless, hands-off experience.
Yeah,
You're just picking the mode, you're pushing a button on it, and you're letting it do its thing.
Yeah, everything's its own point. It's like, let's watch another video because
another video.
Yeah, let's watch another video.
Yeah.
You want to say the magic words, Marcus?
Yeah, punch it, Chewy.
I formally challenge you to a 3D battle. You, me, social media. I don't know what's gonna happen from this, but it's going down. Do you accept?
You just set me up.
I did.
Oh my god. How could I say no?
I mean, you could.
I actually.
Now watch this.
Wow.
So you can see me using the selfie drone in that one at the end there. Like I literally have I put my hand out, I catch it, put it in my pocket, going about with my day. It is such a fun little workflow. And so that was a fun video. So that was me and Danish, the person at the very beginning, Danish Stallion. He's a very good friend of mine. We have this fake beef going on social media because he stole my flight and my flow, and he flies 3D extremely well, and he's probably one of like 4 pilots right now that I would say are like the best in flying 3D. He's probably number 1 next to me, and his footage always inspires me, and we kind of like thought it'd be fun to have a beef on the internet. And go old school rap battle with it. So we've been doing back and forth blows on flying, and it started off pretty mellow. That was supposed to be an easy video. That was supposed to be me in an open field flying 3D to set the bar very low, because where we're going to take things over the next few months will be very destructive to our drones. Yeah, so me and him have been practicing in simulator nightly for the last few days. It's going to be a really fun battle. He has some new tricks. Like he just released the pony roll, which is this like infinite roll that's sideways, like really close to the ground. We have a few things up our sleeves, but we're not going to... We're trying to go slow. Me and him are very competitive. Even though we're friends, we're very competitive, and it's gonna get very interesting.
That makes it interesting. Because JJ says, I don't know how she's ever fall down or get crooked flying right upside down. That interesting. Caroline said, I've tried 3D flying in the sim. This broke me, she says.
Oh, wow.
Now,
What is it called 3D? What is 3D? Why is it different to FPV?
So, okay, so it's actually an amazing question. Why is it called 3D? What is 3D? So when I'm flying, traditionally most people know drones, you have positive thrust where the drone's propelling itself upwards. In RC helicopters, we have what's called a 3D helicopter, which has the ability to generate thrust both positive and negative, right? The way a collective pitch heli does it is through a very complex linkage system that allows it to change the pitch of the propeller live in flight. So it very quickly can go positive to negative pitch with keeping the same rotation, pushing the machine up and down within that direction and axis. With fixed pitch, we're starting and stopping the motor mid-flight. So we're going one direction and then we're stopping it going the other direction. With AM32, it happens so quickly that it's imperceptible to the human eye, and happens within milliseconds.
Pretty dynamic.
A
dynamic way of flying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very dynamic. It is, I think, the final evolution of FPV flying for most people, because in traditional RC, we had 3D helicopters, and I think anyone that's flown a 3D helicopter or seen 3D helicopters will say that it is cool. Like, those are doing things you can't do with a traditional non-collective pitch helicopter. You know, you're not just like flying around in circles, you're doing crazy mind-bending stunts. So 3D and FPV allows you to do the same thing, especially now. Like, the hardware support's really good. We have custom propellers that are symmetrical, creating equal thrust in both directions. I have motors, the 2010 motors that fly 3D extremely well on 6S for 5-inch. We even have 3.5-inch 3D propellers now for micros to do sub 250s. These are brand new from GemFan. And works really well. Like, you get a lot of the same performance out of a 700mm helicopter in a much smaller package.
What I need then is somebody to fix a camera onto the drone and record in slow-mo so I can see these blades flipping and turning.
You have to damn on slow.
There must be quite a strain on the motor, though, to go from positive to negative.
Yes. So that's one of the biggest things with 3D and fixed pitch is that, yes, it puts a big strain on the motors and the ESC. You're dumping a lot of amperage into the system because you're going from like full throttle positive to full throttle negative. So you're starting and stopping the motor with, you know, electromagnetism, and it can be a huge strain on the machinery. That being said, AM32 does it amazingly well now. Like, I would say 100% reliability across 3.5-inch, 5-inch platforms with AM32. Doesn't really matter what motor you choose. The motor's just going to make it better. Like, taller stator equals more torque generally. So the taller the motor, the better time you're going to have doing what you want to do. But the realistic point of it all is that 3D is in a good spot now. It is reliable. It's fun to fly. There's more pilots flying it every day. Like, I get to wake up to seeing people post their own 3D footage, and I'm like, cool. I'm just gonna repost this content. I don't have to fly anymore. It's fun.
What I don't do is get a drone and put it on a string and simulated 3D flying.
I'll bet the motor companies love you, Zoe.
Yeah, I'll bet they do.
I mean, so I went through a lot with trying to get a custom 3D motor made. Like, it was a pain in the butt. Over a year of testing with VCI, and they were like, hey, Zoe, we want you to fly a 2208. We already have a 2208. It'd be easy if you just used what we already have. And I was like, no, I want custom.
That's what you tell them, Zoe.
Initially, they were not very happy with that. But the 2010 motor, performance-wise, exceeds expectations. Everyone that's flown it has been like, yeah, this is just better. Not just for 3D flying, but for freestyle in general, because it has a faster motor spin up. Yeah, that means you have less lag. You can run a lower PID loop. You get closer to actual flight feeling, where the machine is less of a barrier between you and flying.
So is it more instantaneous as well? Then?
Yeah, that's the real big one. So it does a few things. One, because it's faster and more instantaneous, it means you have to dump less energy in the motor to do what you want. Because it can actually get up to that speed easier and faster, it means you have less wasted energy, less heat waste. Basically, the longer you have to dump amperage to get to the speed, the more wasted energy you're putting into the motor, the more heat waste there is. So it runs cooler than a traditional 5-inch motor, and you have more torque. Like it has 30% more stator volume than a 2207. And most people are running 2207 on 5-inch builds and then like, oh, these are great. Wait till you try a 2010 because it is a night and day difference in performance. We're not even talking like a 30% increase in performance. We're talking like a 40 to 50% increase in performance. You know, you're not running D values in the 20s or 30s. You're running D values in like the 10s or the 9 or 8, 7 values. Like you're running like almost no dampening on your machine because it responds so quickly. You don't have to compensate for motor lag.
So do you get more battery?
Oh,
Do
I'm
you get
sorry.
more
Go
battery
ahead.
for that? Do you get more battery time? because of that?
So about you get about like a little bit more, but also because you can push it more, you tend to like just
Push it more.
battery life only goes so far. But if like I'm just cruising and I'm not flying 3D, I can get a 1550 mAh battery lasting 6 to 7 minutes, just like on cruising on a 5-inch, which is pretty solid. That being said, if I'm flying 3D, I get maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Because I'm just like once you start doing TikToks and you're dumping like 70 plus amps going back and forth, keeping it vertical, the machine's gonna just eat up amperage. Like it goes away very quickly. So thank you, Tattoo. Thank you for your amazing batteries because they're the only batteries that can keep up with me.
My question is, Zoe, are you an engineer by trade?
So no, well, sort of. So I've had 2 jobs in the defense industry, working for Hess Systems in Booz Allen Hamilton as an engineer. That being said, I got into doing engineering through FPV, basically because there was nothing that satisfied the way I wanted to fly. I wanted to make that possible. So I've been very fortunate in the fact that like I know a lot of people in the industry, a lot of people know of me. I have a lot of historic, milestones to my name. So people tend to trust me a bit when I say, hey, we should try making this drone do flippy floppies upside down and develop new propellers for a market that doesn't exist. I'm very thankful that companies will go with me on that journey. But yeah, I really got into it because I wanted to fly a more complex machine that had performance that didn't exist. And the only way to do that was to do it myself and become an engineer. So yeah, no, it's a fun journey. And I think that's one of the things why I'm so passionate about people getting into FPV and drones in general is that it's such a great avenue into engineering. Like when you start really working on these machines yourself, like the CEO of Fat Shark said it kind of best. It's like he's an engineer by trade, but what it takes to become an FPV pilot and to maintain and work on your own machinery is almost to the same extent as being an electrical engineer on a low level, let alone like actually designing things for your machine. And a lot of pilots go down that path of designing their own airframes, making something exactly as they want it.
3D printers.
3D printing, again, yeah, it's a huge thing within our hobby. So this is why I'm hoping the airspace stays open and easy and accessible for hobbyists, because people getting into this end of flying and into FPV is really just a gateway drug into engineering and creating things that will actually help and improve the world around us.
It probably is a little more that way inclined because the FPV drones are different to the drones we take out of the box and fly, because everyone starts with FPV, thinks this is good, and there's always a but, and then the but becomes the engineering part of it. So yeah.
Well, and the other point that I think Zoe was making is because FPV, it's shielded operations, right? I mean, you're never that high. You're not interfering with anybody's airspace at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally separate.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think it's time for the news now, so we're going to just pop over to see Colin in our studio, the other side of the world, and over to you, Colin.
Hello again. It was Steve who first made me aware of this story about a village in the Cotswolds, which is in going towards the western side of the UK in an area of outstanding natural beauty, and apparently they're getting fed up with drones. So I've looked into this story a bit more, and there is actually more to this than meets the eye. Now, the village itself is called Castle Combe, and it's in the county of Wiltshire. They're now saying that they're getting lots of rogue drone operators, there's that term again, rogue drone operator, flying around their village. Now, they've cited 3 examples of what's happened. One resident said he had a drone flying around about 10 foot above his head while he was sitting in his back garden. Another resident has said that he was in the bath and he looked out the window and there was a drone hovering outside the window. And a third resident has said that they had a drone following them when they were walking down the street. Now, obviously, if all of these 3 examples are true, then that is out of order. But when you look into it a bit more, the village itself has got 400 residents, that's permanent residents. It also has 121 holiday homes, because it is a very, very hot tourist spot. It also has 150,000 visitors every year, and they are picking on 3 rogue drone users, and they are trying to stop drones flying completely over their village. What they're doing now is putting signs up in the window saying no drone zone. Well, my question is, why pick on drone flyers when there's only been 3 incidents? When I've been looking through the internet, there's been several instances of people caught for speeding through the village. Are they trying to ban motorists? There have been people littering in the village. Are they trying to avoid or trying to ban visitors? No, they pick on drones. Now, as we all know, no drone signs are not legal anyway, unless they've got a bylaw written underneath them. And even then they're debatable. But it's not in a no-fly zone. People can fly over it legally. You're always going to get the people who want to break the rules in anything. And because it's a drone and because it's new technology, then drone flyers are going to be picked on. Out of those 150,000 visitors they have every year, I wonder how many of them have got a smartphone. You know, they're filming everything around the village. Okay, they're not, hopefully, not invading private spaces, and I can see why people do not want their private space invaded. That's fair enough. But to try and discourage drone flying completely, I think is going the wrong way. But what the worrying thing is, I'm hoping that they don't get together and start approaching the CIA to try and get a no-fly zone imposed over their village, because if one village becomes successful in doing that, then all that's done is started the ball rolling. So once again, I'll be keeping an eye on this, and I hope you enjoyed it this week. I'm Colin Rose for Drone Seekers International.
Thank you, Colin.
So much anti-drone sentiment out there. It's just crazy.
I wouldn't have thought you could just have a no-fly zone just because a resident didn't want it. I mean, it's got to be a reason, like an airfield or a military base, hasn't it?
Well, I mean, what Colin's saying there is, of course, if there's enough pressure from residents of the village.
Yeah, well, I don't think that'd be enough, would it, on its own?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Real reason, surely.
Enough pressure seems to be like 3 people that are upset that someone flew a drone once.
There you go. Exactly.
To be honest with you, it probably wasn't 3 people, it was the same one.
And of course, all their stories or reports would have been exaggerated.
Of course.
Looking in my windows and all that. Yeah, really.
I will say I feel very lucky. The people that I like, because I fly around the neighborhood. There's an elementary school across the street. It's very chill to fly at, off season, off hours. There's a cop that lives across the street. He's also very chill. I had no problems flying drones in this area, flying out the window even, just sitting here flying a 3.5 inch out the window. Zero issue. The neighbors love me. I haven't had any issues. I fly generally fairly smartly. Like, I'm not flying into people's backyards and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
not doing anything that's super nefarious looking or feeling. And they know if they want to talk to me, they know exactly where to find me. I'm not like, you know, hiding and being all like, you know, secretive about it. And most people think it's really cool. When they see an FPV drone flying around, and this might be the difference between like a Mavic and an FPV drone. People see an FPV drone flying around like, oh, that person has skill. They know exactly what they're doing. They're doing all the flippy floppies through things. Most people flying Mavics are going really slow. They're kind of like lumbering around, looking, you know, just kind of taking in the entire area.
Yeah.
And to the untrained eye, I'd be like, oh, that person's looking at my house, and they're just kind of hovering there. Why are they hovering at my house? Meanwhile, the operator's like, I don't know how to use this. What am I? What's going on here? And like, it's generally very not nefarious, but like, to the untrained eye, you just see this drone looking down at your house or something, and you go like, "Oh no, they're like trying to spy on me."
Whereas an FPV one's doing things.
Yeah, just like an FPV drone's
We've got something brewing now. Jackie and I read it in the paper the other day. There's a company started up on the Costa Blanca, hiring drones to tourists.
Yeah, and you don't need a license.
And they say no license is required, and you can fly wherever you want.
Yeah.
And they're hiring them for half an hour at a time.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, but you're going to get someone who doesn't know the rules, aren't you? Who is going to go and fly over a crowd and. Oh.
Right. And so that's the other thing. She's like, okay, like sub 250 drones. I keep thinking about the safety argument. If you're flying a sub 250 drone, even if you're flying over a crowd, you're probably going to cause less damage than if you had a gimbal camera in your hand and you're walking through the crowd and you trip and fall or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's a human risk to having a camera in a crowd or being out in an environment where at some point it makes more safe sense to use a small little flying camera that is not able to hurt anybody to fly around and get the same shot versus like a big expensive camera rig with someone like trailing and like moving around the crowd actively. Like I've seen people completely eat crap while carrying big camera rigs, hitting people in the audience, you know, having stuff go wildly wrong. I'd much rather have a sub 250 flying around. You know,
really, that's exactly Canada's rules are exactly that way. Sub 250 drone, they just say don't do stupid things.
Yeah, you do in the UK as well. The UK, I mean, you know, a 250 drone, as soon as you get anything bigger than 250 drone, no. Go and fly it somewhere like the moon or something. Right, let's watch another video. We'll find a warning. Oh, this one, yeah.
Now that video was called Anti-Gravity.
Which
That was an older one. I took me a minute to remember that day. I'm like, wow, that was many years ago.
Yeah, and now
which brings us on to a very good subject.
Anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity. Right, so what do we know about the anti-gravity A1?
That is the coolest drone launch I've seen in a long time, and I really, really want one. And I want to play with it. I want to fly it. I want to do crazy things. The entire concept of a 360 drone is, I think, one cool. Something that's been done in FPV before. Like people, it's existed. You know, like we've had 360 drones. To have a first-party launch where you have a drone that you control via just one, like the DJI had the single hand transmitter to where you're kind of just pointing to go where you want. Very intuitive. They have a set of goggles that goes with it to allow you to just kind of look around the world and kind of go where you want. I want to play with that. That seems very different. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet. I think for most people that have never flown a drone, it could be a very good thing. And it's just different. It's for the first time in a long time, like, oh, hey, something new is kind of coming to market, doing something a little different than DJI.
Have you seen the goggles? It looks like one of them from the outside.
Yeah, it's got the monocle display. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, the beauty of the drone, I mean, if anyone's into 360, I know Jackie is, and I've sort of dabbled. The good thing is obviously manipulating the footage from that drone. You can be anywhere, north, south, east, west, or anywhere between, or up and down. So,
imagine like chasing drift cars or something. You're just gonna.
Yeah, I've seen a couple things of people making it almost look like they're flying 3D because you can do very crazy motions and transitions with it. I think it'd be fun to be able to play around with that kind of perspective shifting in post. Now, I will say I'm very curious because the fisheye lens and the very wide field of view, I think, is not very nice when it comes to making a cinematic shot. No. I'm very curious about, lens dewarping and potentially trying to make it look a little bit more cinematic than it currently does from the footage I've seen. But those are my two things. I hope it looks as good as I think it's going to look, and I hope you can get those nice cinematic shots with it. And I'm hoping they have the selfie drone abilities. Like, I want to be able to treat it like my Hover Air and push a button on it and have it go get a shot and come back and not have to touch it.
Yeah, John said that he thinks that the 360 is going to be really expensive.
It looks like it's going to be very pricey.
You're getting two cameras instead of one, I suppose, so it's going to be expensive, isn't it?
Suzanne saying between 12 and 1,500 British pounds.
Yeah,
not cheap.
A couple of comments. I think that they did that release or the reveal a little bit too early. I would have hoped that the drone would have been more refined. For one thing, they were only shooting in lower resolution. They couldn't shoot they're claiming 8K. Well, we all know 8K requires a lot of processing power, right? So it's going to create a ton of heat, right?
Yep.
And so those are things that they have to solve, and clearly they haven't solved yet. And number two, when you do a reveal like that, give us a firm release date and give us pricing. And they didn't do either of those.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be early to mid 2026.
And I got the red ass because Zoe and I didn't get invited to any of those.
That's California.
So
it isn't 8K though. 8K is like 360, so you'll only ever see part of it.
You're going to crop it into 4K, Jackie.
I was going to say, would it be?
I always get stuck on is for social media. Let's be real for a second. Most content should be made for social media at this point in time because that's where most views are happening. It's where engagement happens for an audience. Anything past 1080 vertical, and you're wasting pixels. Right. Yes, you can have better bit rate, and better bit rate makes a huge difference when you're talking about this. But if you're talking about a 4K image even, and you're trying to crush that down to a 1080p resolution which is what most social media posts get re-encoded into is 1080. This is why I'm saying 1080 is king. As long as you got that, you're good. So even like a 4K camera, like zoom with the whole, 360 cam setup, you could still get that nice 1080 like section you want without having to sacrifice quality. Well, I consider sacrificing quality.
I'm a YouTube guy, and I can upload all the way to 8K on YouTube and 4K as always.
Which is nice. And I still like making 4K for YouTube, but like most, and I hate this. I've embraced at this point. Most of my views now are on social media, or the TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. YouTube does not care about long form content and drone footage for the most part anymore, unless you're like a couple outlier channels that are doing like bigger content and you're somehow locked into the algorithm. It seems like YouTube really doesn't push drone content all that much.
Short form definitely took over a few years ago, and I get your point. TikTok, my God, you get millions of views on.
Well, long form does good on TikTok too. Videos that are more than 3 minutes long do great on TikTok. I think there's a misnomer out there that only short form content works on TikTok and social media, and no, if you have good long form content, put it out there. Like Instagram will do up to 3 minutes now. TikTok, you can do like 10 minutes. Some of the videos I posted more recently are just long form videos. Exact same thing I post to YouTube, except reformatted for vertical. And shot for shot, my stuff on social media does better than YouTube, like thousands upon thousands more views. And it's the same long form content, just on a different platform. So that was the biggest mistake I made, was thinking that I had to make short form content for, social media.
Okay, right.
Soupy makes a good point there.
Sorry, I was a tangent.
So anyway, it's that time of the day, I think. Do you think it's that time of the day for you? I think it's that time of the day.
We're late.
We're dragging his heels. Terry's going, not yet.
And now it's time for Terry's Joke of the Week.
Can you hear me? This is my last one for a while.
Indeed.
Anyway, there was once a man who took great care for his body. He worked out every day, lifted weights, jogged 6 miles. It's like clockwork. One morning, while checking himself in the mirror, he noticed he was perfectly tanned everywhere, except for one little spot. Determined to fix it, he went to the beach, took off all of his clothes, buried himself in the sand, and left just that little bit sticking out to catch some sun. A little while later, yes, it's fallen in there, Jackie, you've got it. A little while later, 2 old ladies were out for a walk. One, using her cane, spotted the unusual sight poking out of the sand. She tapped it with her cane and shook her head. She said to her friend, "There's no justice in this world." Her friend asked, "Why did you say that?" The lady replied, "When I was 20, I was curious about it. At 30, I enjoyed it. At 40, I asked for it. 50, I paid for it. At 60, I prayed for it. At 70, I forgot about it. And now I'm 80, the damn thing's growing wild on the beach and I'm too old to squat."
Terry's Joke of the Week.
How was that?
Terry.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, what's another video now?
On that note,
watch the video. Yeah.
Zoe's in position. John is now moving into position. Final preparations being made. Course has been cleared. Flight line is set. Timing and scoring. Are you ready? He's ready. Pilots, give me thumbs up. I got 1 thumb. I got 2 thumbs. All right, good luck, pilots. Listen for the bleeps and the bloops. couple seconds. Clock is underway. Pilot's in the air. Zoe leading the way right now. John in that 2-spot running what looks like a flying double Y. Coming through the front side section. Zoe on the gas, going fast. Check her out on the social media. Zoe FPV. Working her way through the top side section. Birds coming out of the bushes as the giant copters come flying by. Coming back down the hill they go. Lap number 1 in the books. Here comes lap number 2. John closing the gap. Zoe leading the way. Wind pushing in their faces as they come through the ridgeline section. Through the top side they go, making the hard right-hander back down the hill now. Lap number 3. White flag is waving this time by. Zoe takes the gate. John just behind now. Middle side section to the top they go. Time to beat is a 1:32. Geyser through the top side, moves to the inside section. Stumbaugh comes across the top. Through the gate they go, side by side. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, make some noise. Pilots, bring them in, shut them down. Land them in the grass for us, please, pilots, in the grass for us. Thank you much. Nicely done.
Wow.
Chills. Every time I've seen that video, I get chills. I miss racing giant drones.
That was something you started, wasn't it, though?
Yes. So I was founder, one of the core founders of X-Class Drone Racing. I initially got a lot of their initial sponsors. I made the logo. I did a lot of the initial publicity and marketing and videos for the group. That was back in like 2016. You know, drone racing had really just started taking off, and there was this giant drone race that was supposed to happen at Drone Worlds in Hawaii. And I was one of 2 groups that actually had a machine to race, but because there's only the 2 of us, they canceled that part of the race, and I never brought it to Hawaii. After the event, I contacted the group and was like, "Hey, you have giant drone? I have giant drone. We should race our giant drones together." And so that's what started X-Class. We went to Treasure Island. We got sponsored by Tattoo. Shout out to Miguel at Tattoo. He's always sponsored anything crazy that I come up with. We had our first race in 2016 and really kind of sold X-Class as this community-based organization that was trying to make giant drone racing happen. It was the X experimental drone. It was the big, bad, crazy racing machines that we wanted to build that we can't do.
How wide on it? That's what I was going to say. How wide on it?
Yeah, how blooming big was it?
So it's 800 millimeters, the frame size minimum, and generally running like 13-inch propellers most of the time.
Wow.
And there really wasn't, the main spec for X-Class is 800 millimeter end-to-end. You can run any kind of motor size you want, any kind of combination of arms and forms, you know. And the whole concept was trying to push drones to their, like, experimental limits. Have an experimental class where you can actually build bigger, build more extreme. And it kind of took over for a while. And then, you know, pettiness and greed got involved, and a bunch of different people want to take it in different directions, and it kind of cooled off over the years, but it's still around. There's still chapters in Australia, the United States, and the UK. We're still hosting races, and I am currently building an X-Class rig to do 3D. So we're
big 3D.
Big 3D, big. Do not screw up 3D. Like, I was like, earlier, I'm like, it's really cool because 3D is no longer a giant 700 millimeter sized helicopter. It's small and better now. And now I'm like, I'm going to build a giant X-class rig to do 3D.
Got to be done. It's got to be done.
It's a terrible idea, but it should be kind of interesting.
Fun.
Zoe, thanks ever so much for joining us again. It's good to see you back. And it went without hitch. Shouldn't speak too soon, did we? But anyway, Zoe, we look forward to seeing more of your. And don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, do you put a link into Zoe's channel?
Oh, yes, Zoe FPV.
Zoe should come to Spain. Zoe should come to Spain.
I want to get out of the US. I will say it would be nice to travel again.
It would be great. It would be great.
If you have a job for me outside the United States, hit me up.
So anyway, so that's all for this week. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat, and Zoe, of course, again. And I'm sure Zoe will come back and visit us again.
Yeah.
Shortly.
Sure.
She's got a cool glass on your day. Look at that. Okay, so have a good week, everyone. And if you're driving, flying, whatever you're doing, do it safely. And we'll see you all again next Sunday. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.